Hello, so in this episode we're going to do a flashback transaction backout, and there's a number of steps here to do. So let's go first, let's log into the database. First thing I want to do is check the undo retention, so let's take a look at that. Okay, it's set to 900 seconds, which is the default. That's 15 minutes, but let's go ahead and make it much bigger, just arbitrarily bigger. I'm going to make it for 10 hours. So system set undo retention is equal to 6,000. Let's go Okay, so the next thing we want to do is make sure we're in archive log mode. So let's put that log mode database. And we are in archive log mode. The next thing we need to do is make sure we turn on supplemental logging. And you can turn on supplemental logging to a number of different degrees. There's a minimal supplemental logging, primary key, unique key, foreign key, and all columns. But for simplicity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and do the minimum and all columns. So that should cover all of our bases in terms of any backout scenario. So here's the syntax. Database add data and alter database add supplemental log data all columns. Now let's verify that. So select supplemental log data min and supplemental log data all database, and both of them are set to yes, so that's good. Let's go ahead and create some tables. Create table 1. Oops, let's do this again. Create table 1. And create table 2. Okay, now let's go ahead and create a SQL plus variable, a timestamp, a variable with a SQL plus variable. So let's first of all, let's set our NLS timestamp format. So let's do alter session set NLS timestamp format is equal to YNMDHH24NISSFF6. And let's go ahead and create our variable RB current timestamp is car220. And let's go ahead and populate it. So exact YB current stamp is equal to local timestamp. And let's go ahead and show what it is. Print Very good. So now let's go ahead and populate our tables. I'm going to put some good, some better, and some bad data in there. So let's go ahead and do that. Insert to table 1, values good. Change table 1 to table 2. Good. Now insert into table 1, values better. Change table 1 to table 2. And let's insert some bad So now the next thing we want to do is run a Flashback versions query, and so take a look at this syntax. Select versions, start SCN, versions end SCN, versions XID, versions operation, call one, table one, versions between timestamp Okay, so the first thing we notice is that these pseudo columns for the versions query, also the column that I'm interested in, column table 1. But the most important thing is notice that there's no where syntax here. There's no where versions between timestamp and local timestamp. It just says versions between timestamp and local timestamp. And the first timestamp is the timestamp that I created in my SQL Plus variable. So let's go ahead and change table 1 to table 2. And so notice that when we inserted this data, we inserted the good in table 1 and table 2 and committed. Same thing with better and bad. So the transaction ID for both table 1 and table 2 in terms of bad data is the same. So one of the things that we can do is we can run a query, the Flashback transaction query. That's not really necessary here because we're going to back it out, but let's just try it just for fun. So let's start from Flashback transaction query where XID is equal to hex to raw of this particular transaction. Notice I use the hex to raw here. Later I will be using this versions XID without hex to raw, but for the Flashback transaction query I need it. So if I run the query now, I get a whole bunch of data associated with that transaction. In fact, there should be something associated with table 1 and also something associated with table 2, and there is because we're inserting two rows for that particular transaction. So now finally the thing that we want to actually do here is we want to do a transaction backout, and what we use for that is the DBMS Flashback transaction backout. So I'll show you how to do that. Exec DBMS transaction, and the transaction we're going to back out is of that particular transaction, which we just listed, and options is equal to DBMS cascade any other particular rows that got associated with that transaction. In this case, there was only 2 rows, but if there were some, it would flashback all of those extra rows that get inserted, updated, deleted within that transaction. So hopefully I typed that correctly, and let's see. This might take a minute. Okay, now it's finished. Now let's look at select table 1, and notice the bad data is gone.